It's 31 degrees. There's 17-mile-an-hour wind gusts. There's about 4 inches of snow on the ground. I need to get a fire going. So I'm going to use my little pocket emergency kit and show you some tricks I've learned over the years. To get a fire going, you need 3 things. I learned this from Lonnie at Far North Bushcraft-Survival a long time ago. He has a saying that you have to have it. Okay, so you need heat, oxygen, and fuel, right? H-O-F. You have to have it. So our fuel today is going to be wood. And if you look here, this big branch came down in this storm that we've been having. Now, it's really important to always remember that you want to look up for your wood, because if the wood's up in the air, it's drying, right? Because the air is moving around it. It's got convection. If you're pulling from the ground, well, that wood's been saturated, right? It's sitting in the, whatever it is, the snow or the mud or the wet. So we always want to look up. So I'm going to pull down this branch here. This will make a great piece for us. It's a large branch that came down, and it's still got a bunch of small twigs on it. So first we're going to do the snap, crackle, pop test. Snap, crackle, pop test is just that. Snap, crackle, pop. Ready? Let's see if this is good. That's good. You hear that? Snap, crackle, pop. So when you're getting that, you know that this wood is good to go. It's dry inside. For example, this is a piece I just took down off the tree that's alive, and you can see it's even got little buds on it, but listen to this. No, nothing. Right? And if you look inside, you can see it's still green. It's alive. Right? So that's not snap, crackle, pop. That's just, breaking and green. So this isn't going to do us any good. So the question is, where are we going to build this fire, right? What's our site selection? Now we know that we've got these winds. We may have rain, snow. So I'm looking for whatever kind of shelter I can get, right? It gives me a better chance of getting that fire going and keeping it. So around here, all I've got basically, I've got this bamboo behind me. So I've got a little shelter. And that's about it. If you're out in the middle of, a lake bed, well, that's what you got. You're in the middle of nothing. But I'm going to show you a little trick. We're going to build up a little berm around our fire. Okay, so I want the fire right about here. So I'm going to use my boot to dig down to the earth. Right? Get rid of that snow. And then I'm going to take snow from the surrounding area, and I'm basically going to build a little berm. Right? Give me a little shelter from that wind. And right there you can see, now we have this little berm. We've got the bamboo behind us that's blocking the wind. But this berm right now is about, 3 inches tall. And you notice that I didn't use my fingers or my gloves, so that way I'm not getting my hands all frozen, my gloves wet. So I'm just using my boot. You could use a stick, whatever, but I'm going to keep building this up and give us a little, windbreak here. Okay, so my little pit is ready to go. So I'm just going to go around and start breaking down this wood. I like to make them about 6 inches. I'll just go around, get a nice amount. It's important that you spend the time to prep your fire. It's all about the prep, because you kind of get one shot at it, right? So you need to be ready to go, at least to get that initial fire lit up. After you've got a flame going and it's sustained, you'll have enough time to do this, process more wood. But for now, a nice handful. We're looking for these little ones. That's a good start. So I've got my little handful, And it's important that this doesn't get wet. Okay, we're trying to keep this as dry as possible. So what we're going to do, I'm going to set that on my boot right there, is we're going to use some sacrifice. Okay, that means wood that you're willing to get wet to preserve the wood that you're going to try and burn. So say that we had to store it here. Well, these are going to be sacrificed. Okay, so we don't care if that stuff gets wet. No big deal. You just have to sacrifice some to the wood gods. So I'm in my little fire pit here. And the first thing you're always going to do on the ground is build a little raft. Okay, so find some of the bigger ones. And you're building a raft. Right, just think of like a little wooden raft. Okay. And that is keeping us up off that cold, wet ground. And it's going to help us create convection. Also, the fire will burn down and these will turn into coals. So there we go. We've got our little raft. Now I'm going to take these smaller pieces, all the little babies, small as I can find, get those ready, and we'll make some shavings. So here's my little pocket emergency kit. I'm going to remove this black rubber band. It's got electrical tape, helps keep it water resistant. Not waterproof. I'm going to be mindful of this and put it somewhere where it's not going to get wet. And then inside of here, I've got my little survival kit. And what I'm looking for are these little cotton balls infused with Vaseline, the knife, and the ferrocerium rod. So here we go. This is what we need. We've got our cotton balls infused with Vaseline, a little mini ferrocerium rod, and our knife. So I'm going to grab a piece of wood and we're going to make shavings. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the outer layer of bark. Okay, I'm going to get down to the wood. So I'm going to prep that because this outer layer of bark has a lot of moisture in it. Okay, so I'm just going to take that down so it's all wood. See that? So now we're into the wood. Now we're going to make some shavings. Little ones. Got our wood. I'm just going to make a little feather stick, basically. Just pulling down, twisting up, getting these real fine little shavings. Can you see those? So I'll go around this. So you can see I'm just cutting, lifting up, twisting. Right, I'm catching that next edge. And there we go. There's one of our little feather sticks. That'll work just fine. Okay, this is where you have to be quick. Here's all our little twiggies. Here's our cotton ball full of Vaseline. And here's our little feather sticks. They're semi. Okay, here's where you have to be quick. Here's our cotton ball infused with Vaseline. Okay. Got my feather sticks there. Here I've got my knife and my little miniature ferrocerium rod. And I've got all these little twigs stacked up here in the front. Okay, because I'm going to ignite this cotton ball full of Vaseline and then I'm going to pull those over. Okay. Get my little feather stick right here. Now, you always want to use the back of the knife, okay? You have a 90-degree spine, so you never, ever want to use the front of the blade, okay? Because you're going to be dulling it. So for this one, we're going to use the front of the blade. There we go. And she's caught. Remember to take your tools and put them back in your pocket so you don't lose them. All right, so quick. Let's get this feather stick going. We're gonna look for our little tinies. I'm going to build a little teepee above it here. Remember that fire loves chaos. So don't try and do anything mathematical. Make it crazy. And as she grows, we will just keep adding. Snap, crackle, pop. You know, it's a little delicate process. But we're kind of just log cabin it, TPing it. Let that get going. And you've got a fire. And we've got our fundamentals, right? We've got heat, which was my ferrocerium rod. We've got oxygen, okay? And we've got fuel, which is the wood. And that's a quick fire in cold weather in the snow.